How's it going, my fellas? Welcome back, it's Nick here. And just to avoid any confusion, as you've seen earlier this week, I've been re-uploading the most iconic world record videos to the channel, as well as the tutorial on N64 Bowser's Castle. And now, as of today and tomorrow, I'm re-uploading October, November, December 2018, as well as January and February 2019 world record progression videos to the channel, just to avoid any confusion. And the newest March 2019 recap is coming this Saturday at April 6th. So if you want to see that, don't miss it. Click the subscribe button, support the channel, and just rewatch the videos, get pumped for the March video, and we'll take it from there. Thank you very much, and enjoy. Welcome back, all. Today we will be reviewing all of the world records set in December 2018. Let's get started. For all things time trial, I have several resources in the video description below for you all to check out, including MarioKartWorldRecords.com, which is a good overview of the world record history for this game, other Mario Karts, and also a section for Mario Odyssey and F-Zero. CTGP Records is a collaborative channel of video recorders that record the fastest times on the Nintendo tracks and custom tracks. CTGP Revolution leaderboards to look at all the fastest times on all the tracks and to download times. TWD98 CTGP Revolution download tutorial and the direct site to the CTGP Revolution website. Starting off this month, we have a total of six total world record improvements on Grumble Volcano no shortcut category. A total of 174 milliseconds was cut this month. Starting off this month, American player Connor broke the tie from last month between himself and Norwegian player Barney, with a time of 152.183 on December 8th, which was an improvement of 13 milliseconds. Connor would improve a second time with a larger cut of 54 milliseconds to a time of 152.129 on December 16th. But wait! We had a new contender this month. American player Blaze would come into the scene and beat Connor by 26 milliseconds 4 days later on December 20th with a time of 152.103. Connor would not back down. 3 days later, he would improve by 2 milliseconds. This is the month of short, small world record cuts, at least on this track anyway, with a time of 152.101. But Blaze would not back down. He would improve another time, and 4 days later by 13 milliseconds with a time of 152.088 on December 27th, and he would improve one more time a day later by 28 milliseconds with a time of 152.060 on December 28th. Now, I must certainly disclose that I am definitely not an expert at Grumble Volcano, especially when it comes to the no shortcut category, but just watching these times over the past couple of months, I've at least seen the trend of 3 areas where players at this level either are losing time or gaining time over each other. Overall, being these low jumps on these ramps, which are a lot harder to do than it looks like, avoiding slowdown on the dirt throughout the entire track. Obviously that comes from different air times and how you're taking drifts, how tightly you're drifting, everything like that. And then this second to last ramp at the end of each lap, which I believe I've been seeing these players called a lucky ramp. I could be labeling that term with the wrong ramp, so I apologize if you guys are referring to a different one. But in short, you can land on this ramp if you're lucky, I guess, and you get a trick off of it, and it saves a considerable amount of time over just landing without getting the ramp and sort of doing this like wiggling back and forth with the control stick to land next to the dirt and then pull off the last low jump on the ramp. 6 improvements is quite a lot this month on Grumble Volcano, so I decided to highlight 2 major things that happened with these improvements this month. Blaze was the first person to hit a 37.1 lap in a world record run during his 152.088. And Connor may have missed the sub 152 in his 152.101, as on lap 3, after this low jump on the ramp, he ended up landing in the dirt and went below 90 kilometers per hour. Accelerating slowly up the slope, This may have cost enough for the sub, I'm not really too sure, but it definitely costs a significant amount of time though. These past 2 months have seen quite a large amount of world record activity, and I'm sure a sub 152 will happen before too long. Congrats on your improvements. Now, if you thought we were done with Grumble Volcano this month, you're wrong. We had an improvement on the glitch category this time, by Canadian player King Alex with a time of 18.553 on December 27th. He would improve his own world record by 88 milliseconds with this time. Now, when comparing these two ghosts, the biggest difference is actually the end. Alex used 2 shrooms instead of 1 shroom at the end. I don't think this was exactly faster, just because of the fact that shroom boosts do not stack on top of each other, meaning if you use a shroom boost and you're at your top speed, and use another mushroom, it's not like these speed boosts stack on top of each other and it goes infinitely like that. However, with that said, beyond the insane strategy now that they used to get onto the rock in the beginning, optimizing this ending strategy is a lot harder than it seems, and it seems like it takes a lot of time to really get this ending strategy down. The bit bike is actually an outward drifting bike, so he's doing a right-facing drift, but it actually swings himself left if you actually look at it very, very closely. If you land on this downward sloping part of the rock, it helps propel that left momentum, furthering the time cut into the finish line. Congrats on your improvement. There was more glitch activity this month, this time on Maple Treeway. American player Breakson beat American player Justin here by 253 milliseconds and subbing 151 at the same time, with a time of 150.955 on December 11th. Breakson had a faster glitch entry into this little hut here for the 1 shoomer compared to Justin. And another thing is that Breakson got what's called a low cannon on lap 2. And basically what that means, from what I can understand, is if you collide with the fence as you're entering the cannon in such a way, you're actually traveling once you land out of the cannon at a slower amount of speed. As you can see on lap 3, he is actually at his base speed in the cannon, but on lap 2, he is at below 80 kilometers per hour. What this achieves is this. When you're out of the cannon, it's called a low fall or a low cannon, which means you're landing a lot sooner. And if you're landing a lot sooner, you can make this alignment for the shroomless recovery up to the tree branch a lot quicker. And just reflecting on this, since October of 2018, there has only been 3 people to have successfully pulled off the 1 shroomer and completed a personal best time with it. I think this is the slowest progression of people successfully hitting a new strategy or glitch since its discovery or its implementation. Even compared to a track like Jungle Parkway with the crazy 2-part glitch to it, where you're going off the tree and off the finish line post at the same time into the cave, I think people pulled off that glitch a lot faster than people pulling off the 1 shoomer Maple Treeway glitch now that it is the meta in real time. The glitch category of Maple Treeway overall definitely has a long ways to go, but this certainly should not take away from how difficult this is. So congrats on your improvement. Speaking of Jungle Parkway, we actually had a Jungle Parkway improvement on a no glitch category. Canadian player Yasha, yes, Yasha, not Jasha, as I've learned in the past couple of months. He improved his own world record by 130 milliseconds with a time of 2:11.455 on December 16th. Now, Yasha is a long-standing veteran of this game who came back less than 2 years ago after a long period of inactivity. Fun little trivia, his world record history here goes back nearly 10 years to the date, with his first world record of 2:13.852 on December 26, 2008. Overall, I must say that this track is very, very enjoyable to race on overall, but the thing that hinders most players from playing this track a lot more intently is this shroom spot at the very end at the dirt before the finish line. This ending shroom is notoriously very, very difficult, and it deters many players from playing this track a lot further, like myself actually. With that in mind, I definitely respect Yasha going out of his way to continue trying to improve on this track. I do think eventually we will see a very high 210 here in the no glitch category, but that's going to take a lot of grinding. And if anyone were to do it, Yasha is definitely the man for the job. Congrats on your improvement. Next, we head to DS Delfino Square, where British player Luke beat the previous world record by British player Tom, aka Sword, by 16 milliseconds with a time of 2:04.451 on December 17th. Now, to my knowledge, Luke hit around a 2:04.7, I want to say, close to a year ago, and he recently came back to playing this track a bit more intently in the month of December. Highlights of his run would be three main parts. He had a bad landing on the bridge on lap 1. He had a messy recovery after the bridge on lap 2, based on how he got the trick out of it. And he had 2 full chain wheelies and 3 half chain wheelies. At this level of DS Delfino Square gameplay, we can definitely boil down to a few critical points of where time is either gained or lost. One is getting all the full chain wheelies. Getting a full chain wheelie is a 1 frame input in a 60 frame per second game, which is obviously very difficult. Getting a very low drift trick on the bridge on lap 2, and very fast main turbo execution throughout all of the track, knowing the different ways of either holding them out for certain strategies or having pure mini turbo speed out of certain turns. Especially on the slip drift at the end of the bridge on lap 3, which can save either a lot of time or it can lose a lot of time where you can lose your runs to it, based on if you get like a little bounce in between your slip drift and anything like that. And just reminiscing over 5 years ago now, when Tom actually subbed 2:05 for the first time here with his world record of 2:04 in December 2013, I thought that was very nearly the limit back then. It's really crazy now that these players are pushing beyond the mid 2:04 point and they're now down to the low 2:04 point. Seeing these players hit the low 2:04 range is extremely impressive. Congrats on your improvement. I want to take a very quick break from the world record improvements here for a second. It is inevitable that I will be getting comments and questions regarding a situation that occurred in the month of December in the world record scene. I have purposely not spoken out regarding this issue publicly, but I will address it here briefly. As most people have seen, there was a large amount of drama over the next world record that I'll be reviewing, which was an improvement on Peach Gardens by American player Brett. Brett used a me by the name of Luke Greater Than Sword, and had a music request which was the same music that Sword used in his 2:04.467 Delfino Square world record run a year ago. It is very clear that these actions were made with the intent of sparking a negative reaction towards Sword. And it is clearly no secret that Sword is one of my best friends, but even with that said, he didn't deserve that. This was done in very, very poor taste. Playful fun like what Justin did with his Maple Treeway world record with using the Colton me was a far better example of that being executed in good taste. Now, my closing remarks is this. Our community turns 11 years old in a couple of months from now. There is absolutely no room for behavior like this towards our fellow players in our community. We should really be lifting each other up and supporting each other. And this is all I'm going to say regarding this issue. My aim with this series is to be as objective as possible, reporting the world record progression for each month, and I stay out of all drama. But I felt the need to at least address this with the inevitable comments and questions and everything like that would have arisen if I didn't speak on this publicly. Brett improved his previous world record by 32 milliseconds on December 18th with a time of 1:59.139. And he would actually improve his time a second time this month further by 96 milliseconds with a time of 1:59.043 on December 21st. I'm quite surprised that this time has gone as low as it has since September, with the chain jump on lap 3 in mind. One thing I wanted to point out that I actually never noticed is that Brett commented on his run stating to look at the speedometer, particularly when you're landing from the staircase in front of the finish line. I never noticed this, but on some instances he's landing at max speed, and in other instances he is not. This actually reminds me of DK Mountain when you're landing from the air and you can land back at 96 right away and her wheelie speed. This is essentially the same thing here, but I didn't think this would actually happen with the little airtime you're getting from the top of the staircase to the bottom of the staircase. I originally thought the chain chomp on lap 3 would make it so with automatic the absolute max time would be a 1:59.1 before either having a shroom strat change or somehow, some way beating that chain chomp on lap 3, which I really don't think is going to be happening anytime soon. But watching these improvements now, I think I could definitely see a 158 here, even with barely missing that chain chop, and if you execute the second half of the lap really well. The current best splits with automatic do give a 158, and it would be quite crazy to see a 158 on this track. So we will see what 2019 brings here on this track. Congrats on your improvement. Moonview Highway would see some action this month. Luke improved upon his own world record by 89 milliseconds on December 24th, with a time of 1:43.152. I actually caught this run live, and it was very enjoyable to see this time being set live on Twitch. Thinking about it, I am quite amazed that the world record was stuck at a low 143.3 for almost 1,000 days, and then as of the past couple of months, the world record has been improved by close to 200 milliseconds overall. I guess for the longest time it seemed like if you couldn't beat the truck completely, like at the front of the truck as opposed to the back of the truck, that you would be losing too much time swerving around and getting back onto the boost panels. Though it is clear that these improvements have been made now that we're going around the back of the truck, the biggest thing that's holding back progression now at this point is this blue car around the bend. I do believe if you beat the truck on lap 3, if you're going in front of it as opposed to around it, I think this will be fast enough pace to avoid that blue car going in front of the blue car on lap 3. And I think at that point a 142 would be free if you do the ending relatively good. Even with all that in mind, this is quite a strong rung here, and I don't see this being improved for quite a while, but we will see what 2019 brings on this track. Congrats on your improvement. The last world record to be covered for this month is DS Desert Hills, going to the glitch category. American player Justin improved his own world record and subbed 132 at the same time, with a time of 1:31.759 on December 28th. Now, I am not a glitch expert by any means, at any stretch of the imagination, but what I can really conclude here on this track is that the most time saved comes from how fast you are doing the entry into the wall clip, how fast you're shrooming, the height and distance you're getting with your clip, going over the lake, and then how fast you can recover when you land. It seems like if you land in too much dirt, either you lose too much speed and you cannot get a main turbo out of it, or you barely hit any dirt at all, and your recovery is very quick and you save a lot of time. This was definitely a time this month that completely caught me off guard. I definitely did not see this category on this track being improved for quite some time, so congrats on your improvement. And with that, we conclude the world record recap for December 2018. We saw 14 total world records set this month. That's actually tied for the second most active month in the year of 2018 with June and March, which also had 14 world records in their month. A grand total of 118 world records were set in the year of 2018, making 2018 the most active year for world record progression since 2013, which had 122 world record improvements, and even 2012, which had 2 more with 124 world record improvements. I hope you all are very excited because I'm actually going to be making a world record yearly recap starting with 2018 with a progression of all 32 tracks, as well as highlighting some milestones set throughout the year. So if you're looking forward to that, definitely give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't done so already if you want to see more content like this coming to the channel. 2019 is going to be a fantastic year for time trial, and I'm very excited to be bringing more content like this to you guys. So thank you all so much for your support and your feedback. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.